I'm Alyssa.
And I'm Mike.
Welcome back today on this beautiful Tuesday.
Let's just call it almost April.
Almost April Fool's Day. You did say that you were a prankster. I'm not much of a pranker. I don't really like being pranked either. Like, it's not really my
Yeah.
thing. I'm not really a fan of like people pranking me.
Yeah.
Like,
Back in the day. I used to be. Not so much anymore. I don't have time for all that nonsense and shenanigans. Shenanigans is a word that, actually like maybe, I don't know, 12 generations before me used. But
I
no, I
can
think
I can say this here because I know that they're distracted and the children aren't watching the podcast.
and
So, I was
if
just
children
talking.
are watching, skip past this part.
Yeah,
Oh.
I was just talking to Ada about how we want to prank Alina on April Fool's Day and do the Oreo with the toothpaste in the middle
Oh, that's a good one.
because she'll
That's
just
it.
grab it and eat it. Like she
Yeah.
won't think anything. She was
But
like
but
saying that she wants to prank Adrian, but too with it, and I was
yeah.
like, no, Adrian, like he will sniff out a off-brand sweet treat. Like
Yeah.
I can show him two Nutty Buddies, and he will be able to like
Oh,
on
really?
sight tell which is off-brand.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
no
a
fooling him.
that's a talent.
I know. I was like, nah, he
Also,
won't. He
I'd stay away from the toothpaste in the Oreo though, because I don't know that you're supposed to ingest toothpaste. I don't think you're supposed to, right? It might be bad for you. You don't want to get the kids
I
sick,
I
right?
think that immediately upon biting it though and tasting the toothpaste, like you'll spit it out. I
Yeah.
imagine. Like you're not
Some,
gonna. It's
you know what? How about this instead? Because this would be much worse.
what?
Coconut oil. The coconut,
Oh yeah. Or I was thinking like maybe cream cheese. I don't know if that would be like
law.
nasty
Yeah, that actually might be good. You don't know. Be
or
like,
like
is this a
sour cream.
cheesecake flavored one?
Oh
Um,
yeah, true.
how about a
I might like put us onto a new
do
snack.
you have some lard? Some lard.
Ugh, no, I
That
think
would be
that's
that would be
way
really
worse
good.
than toothpaste. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe
Oh,
I'll keep.
I think these Oreos might be bad.
Ugh, too buttery, like Crisco, like the
Yeah, yeah.
nasty.
So this is not. By the way, April Fool's pranks is not our topic today, although it could have been. That might have been a good one.
Should have been. Yeah.
Um, but we wanted to go into some what I call the dark side of the internet, and we're not talking about the dark web because by the way, speaking of the dark web, we were behind I think it was a Jeep the other day, and it was a black Jeep, and its license plate said dark web, and your mom goes, "Oh, that's kind of cool," thinking that the dark tied into the dark Jeep, and I don't know where web would come in there, but I was like, I don't think that is cool. I think that person might be up to no good. They got dark web on their license plate. Also, I'm surprised they would allow that kind of thing on their license plate.
He has like a QR code somewhere that you
Yeah,
scan and it
right,
steals all
right.
your information.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my
So
gosh, that's always frightening to me when like you're checking your credit report or something and it's like your email was found on the dark web or in the dark
yeah,
web. Like what?
yeah,
There's nothing
yeah,
that creeps me out more. Like, oh my God, like in the dark web,
yeah,
how do you get to the
yeah.
dark web?
I
That's
don't,
not what
I
I'm
don't,
talking about.
I'm kind of glad I don't know where it is
I'm
because
surprised you don't
I
know
feel
because
like,
you're a computer
yeah,
genius.
yeah, but I don't want that in my search history. How can I get to the dark web? I don't want that in my Chat GPT history or my Google history.
Right.
So no, I'm gonna vote no on that. Um, so, but we kind of wanted to talk about like recently there were a couple of cases involving Meta and Alphabet or Google, where they were both. The first one they were actually well, it was in California, and Meta, which is Facebook, Instagram, all that, and Alphabet, which is Google. They were both sued over like addiction, personal
Oh
injury,
yeah.
basically related things. I think it was
Yeah.
related to some kids too, and it was basically like they were talking about things like infinite scroll or doom scrolling that all these apps support, and then the way the algorithms feed certain things to you, and they were like it was basically ruled against them. The damages for Meta was 4.2 million, and for Google it was 1.8 million.
Yeah, that's what I saw. The one girl who sued them literally got $6 million. I was like, hold
Yeah,
on.
yeah,
I scroll a little too much as well.
yeah. But I think there were other reasons that that person
They
got
said
that
like
amount of money
mental
over it.
health, I guess. Like what I read about it when you told me about it, I read that I guess she just pretty much said it affected her overall mental health. But here's my thing. You know, and I know this actually was a lawsuit. You can't sue McDonald's just because you're gaining weight because you can't stop going there because you're addicted
Mm,
to it. Like you can, but I don't know. I just feel
yeah.
like at the end of the day, just
Well,
put
the
the
thing is, and I heard some people on the news comparing it to like, you know, back in the day, right? There were things that cigarette companies were doing to market their product as though they were actually healthy. And I don't know why
oh
people
yeah.
believe that,
When they
but
said that like cigarettes made you skinny or whatever.
yeah, something like that. Yeah. Soda, you know what? Soda's meth, but you don't want to do it. Um, I hear.
Right.
I don't really. Again,
True.
don't know anything about the dark web. Don't know anything about meth. But but so they were convincing people of that, and they also were like hiding. They were they knew the negative health impacts of cigarette smoking, but they didn't like they kept it secret. So um
Oh.
it's a similar thing here. Like I think with these they know a lot of this, and that's part of what part of what was uncovered, like I guess in the whole process, in the whole trial process, and that was that they know that some of this stuff is like addictive and how it's addictive and all that, and they're not doing enough to I'm not making a judgment on it. I'm just saying that's what it was.
I
um
I just think that if you have an addictive personality,
yeah,
you're way more likely to get addicted to anything in that case then.
right,
If I mean, I don't know, and I think it also comes down to like it not even being addictive as much as, and what do I know? Like, but I see it like it's less about it being addictive and more about you just making it a habit. So
right,
if I make having dessert every night as a habit, it's not that I'm addicted to dessert. I'm just used to eating dessert every night. So if um I'm just used to like scrolling on TikTok every night before bed, that's just automatically what I'm going to do. If I make it a
right,
habit to check my phone every morning, that's just what I'm going to do every morning because I've just done it enough times that now it's my habit more than my addiction. If you wake up in the morning and you make it a thing to not grab your phone, like I don't really look at my phone until like shoot, like after the kids go to school, really most times. Like I don't look at my phone in the morning most times. If
explains why you never respond to my texts.
so, yeah, I don't know, that's just kind of how I look at it. Like
Yeah,
you
I
make it a
definitely,
habit more than a
yeah,
addiction.
I definitely see where you're coming from. I think what the point that the lawsuits pointed out though is that they know that certain things that they do are going to cause people to spend longer time on the platform. That's how they make money. They make money by people being on their platform, right?
Yeah.
But again, they know that well, if we show people things that make them angry, they're gonna keep watching that for whatever reason because human beings are tragically flawed that we like to see things that make
Right.
us angry. um but so that was the first case. They said there's actually
Yeah.
and that was in California. They said there's actually 2,000 similar lawsuits pending in other U.S. courts. So I mean we could see. I don't think it's going to happen because and Google or Meta and Alphabet are both appealing those cases. I get the feeling that because let's talk about the other case. The other one is actually a child exploitation safety lawsuit in New Mexico.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
and that one, Meta was also found liable, and they were ordered to pay $375 million in penalties. Um, and basically, what the case said is that like they were enabling child sex exploitation on their platform, um, and excuse me, and basically it said that they found violations of state consumer protection laws, and I guess there were warnings that they had internally inside of Meta that they ignored, and then the moderation system that they had was just too weak. Um, but I mean, the thing about both of these, and the child thing is really tough, right? Because you're seeing that on other platforms like Roblox too. That's been just like the wild west of that stuff.
They took
Um,
off the chat for it,
yeah.
just overall,
Um,
so you can't even chat on there anymore.
yeah, yeah. Which shows two things. It shows like, first of all, there are just some evil people in the world. There are just some evil, evil people in the world that do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but also, it does make me wonder, like, what is this going to lead to? Are these platforms just going to go away? Or is this going to
Yeah.
force them to take a look and put stricter protections on, which are going to make it, a lot harder? Like in Florida now, I think if you're under, is it 13 or 15? Like they can't even allow you to have a social media account, right? They passed that law, I think last year.
Yeah, but I mean, there's still parents like signing their kids up for it and like
Right, sure.
letting them use it or posting them and like, you
And I
know,
think that's okay,
hmm
because the assumption there is, and this is not
parental
always the case,
supervised. Yeah.
right, that you're going to be
Yeah.
responsible for it then. And in
No,
that case
exactly.
too, like you also can't hold the platform like responsible then if you're
Now,
going and
yeah.
saying that,
I
you know.
think like, the thing is it comes from like I if I had a yeah, like that's where I can see the mental health side of it. If you have a younger child on social media like that, I would probably either turn off the comments,
Mhm.
but then again, if there are positive comments, like the kids like seeing that. Like I think
Right.
it's good to see that. But
Right.
that doesn't take away from the weird ones or the mean ones because there's some
Right.
weirdos and mean people out there like
Until they
commenting things unless you just
Yeah.
moderate your own videos comments. But
Right. Until I think for what they're going to have to do, like to your point, I think on kids stuff especially, they just shouldn't allow the comments. Even the positive comments, they shouldn't allow the
yeah,
comments. But until the day that the AI is good enough that it can moderate those comments itself, that it can say, "Oh, this one's a little too, suggestive. No, we're not going to allow that." Or, this one's really negative. We're not going to allow that.
but I
Um,
think also like even again when they talk about the like what it does for your mental health, I think that's where like I remember when I was younger and social media was kind of just on the come up. I like you do get kind of and I'm not a social media person now at all. Like haven't posted for probably like a year or two. But back in the day when I would post, I remember when I would post on Facebook, if I would post something and it wouldn't get that many likes, it within like a certain amount of time, I would delete it. I'd be like, okay, guys, this wasn't us. This one didn't hit,
yeah,
so
yeah. Meanwhile, the
I'll
algorithm
see
was just prevent.
myself out.
Meanwhile, the algorithm was just preventing anyone from seeing it. So,
Yeah, like nobody
um,
or like, back in the day it was like with Facebook, like if you didn't get a bunch of happy birthdays on your Facebook wall, it was just like, "Oh my god, I'm such a
yeah,
loser."
yeah. Oh, I don't have any friends. Nobody wished me happy birthday.
Just my dad and my grandma on here.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but then the other side of that too is, I don't know if you've ever heard of Section 230, but
No.
I think it was 1996. It was like Communications Act. It was a law that was passed, and Section 230. There was a lot of talk about this back when like the platforms were banned, like when they banned uh, President Trump and that kind of thing. Um, there was a lot of talk about Section 230, and what it basically said is that like platforms like Meta and Facebook, or yeah, Meta is Facebook, like Facebook and Instagram and
Yeah.
X and that they couldn't be held responsible for what somebody posted on there. So if somebody posted something
True.
that was saying negative things about, a product or a company or whatever, that company couldn't turn around and sue, that platform because, Joe Schmo, had posted something negative.
Hmm.
And that's a good protection, right? Because it's like if I put a billboard outside my house and somebody comes and puts a note on there that says, Mike's a loser, like I shouldn't. Well, it's my somebody comes and says Alyssa's a loser. You shouldn't be able to come and sue me because somebody else put a sign on
Hey,
there.
why'd you let someone put that on your
Yeah,
billboard?
yeah.
True, actually. True. Why did
So
you?
it's
Take it down.
well, but I didn't
It's
let
your
them put it.
billboard.
They just put it. I just don't.
Yeah,
I
you
just
kept
don't
it
check the
up.
billboard.
You kept it
So
up. It's your billboard. It's your responsibility.
So that's see, Section 230 protected against that. But they said in the case of like these circumstances, it's not really the same thing. It's not that one person said
Yeah.
something, that somebody else didn't like or that somebody else, thought was damaging to them. It was more about like the way that information was being pushed to you, and in the case of like the child stuff, that they just weren't doing enough to protect, people from getting to other people like that. So, um, yeah. So, I mean, we'll see what happens with all that. I think in both cases they're being appealed. I think at some point it's going to end up that like these are going to get appealed up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court's going to have to say whether or not it's valid, and then we'll see what happens to these companies. But it
Yeah.
does kind of tie into like that darker side of the regular internet, not the dark web, but because the dark web is all dark. Um,
True.
but that dark side of the regular internet where you know things just bad things go on.
Yeah. I think the child stuff is way more something that they should like regulate. Um but
Definitely.
I mean, the just regular people having addictions, I don't know. I think like maybe everybody doesn't have that, like, I don't know the word for it, just like self-regulation. I don't know,
Right.
but to notice like, okay, you know what? I'm scrolling too much on here. Let me form new habits. Let me
Right.
delete this app. Let me delete my account. Let me only check my phone during these times, or I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I
If
at
I
times
notice
I've thought
I'm
about
gaining
that.
weight from fast food, I'm just going to stop eating the fast food. I'm not going to be like,
Exactly.
"Darn you, McDonald's, make something healthier."
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because the thing is, like, yeah, that's exactly it. Like, if you find you're losing several hours a day to doom scrolling, you
Yeah.
probably need to just like you know, put some. And I mean, can the apps do things to prevent that? Yeah, could they add something that says, okay, you've been scrolling for 10 minutes, put your phone down and not let you access for time? They could do that. I don't think they will do that because it would impact their bottom line. I think that the way that that'll happen, and I don't necessarily agree with it, is if the government passed a law to mandate something like that somehow.
Okay, like for example, Uber, the Uber app. Uber drivers can only Uber for, I think it's like you can only be active for like 12 hours at a time, like 12 hours straight. I think it's 12 hours,
Hmm.
maybe like slightly less or whatever, but I think it's
Hmm.
at least
Hmm.
12 hours. Once you're on there for 12 hours, it will literally kick you off for a certain number of hours and not let you get back on until X amount of hours passes. Like it
Yeah.
literally forces you to take a break. So, but I think
Yeah.
that's also because you're driving people around, so it doesn't
Yeah.
want you like
Little bit of a
running
safety
off of
thing there.
24 hours. But with that being said, it does that even though it would, like, one could assume, I guess, like, oh man, I've been doing this for 14 hours. I'm starting to feel kind of tired. Let me get off. Like, yeah, I guess we
Yeah,
can all assume, like, maybe someone would do that. But just in case they don't,
right. Well, and the thing is,
we're
like,
going to kick you off.
that's a case where the system, where Uber would be liable if they let somebody keep going for, like you said, 20 hours, and sometime during that 20th hour the guy dozes off and drives off a cliff or something. That's I mean that's an easy one, right?
Right.
Um but yeah,
Like
but
in a
that's a good analogy.
like they're going to regulate it, I guess, to an extent. So, I guess the apps could technically like say like kick you off, or at least like maybe set up a feature where you can turn it off and on. Like
Right.
turn on scroll regulation, but the
You
people
know,
who are addicted like they're not going to
I
turn that
think
on anyway. They don't want to be
I think
regulated.
TikTok has that. When I was in looking at some stuff on TikTok today, um, due to our current emergency, um, I I noticed that there was a setting for that. I should have looked into it a little bit to see if that's what it was, but it had something to do with taking a break or something like that.
That's funny.
Um,
Yeah. I
so
mean,
yeah, and it might not force you to. It might be the type of thing that just pops up with a message. But I think in some cases, even something like that would be good because sometimes you get in that mode and you do need something to push you to say, oh yeah, I gotta get up and go do something. My Apple Watch does that to me because every hour if I don't, some hours when I do stand up, it still thinks I'm not standing up. And I don't know if it's just because I'm short or I don't,
you
it's
know, like
insulting
I
to me.
like I say in all my job interviews, I'm a self-starter, so I remove myself from my phone and my social media,
Right.
all that stuff.
Right.
I
But
hide my phone sometimes from me.
how's, how does that work exactly? Like, I
Don't
mean,
worry
I've
about it.
lost my phone, but I never hide it from myself because I'm going to know where I hid it.
Yeah, well, no, that's what you would think, right? Like there's
Yeah.
sometimes no, I mean I don't purposely hide it, but there is sometimes when like I'll be talking on FaceTime or just on the phone or whatever in the kitchen, and I'll like prop up I'll be like cooking or washing dishes or something, and I'll prop up my phone like in the kitchen cabinet because like the height of it is just perfect. So
Yeah.
I'll like prop it up against like plates in the cabinet, and then I'll get off the phone and I'll continue doing whatever I was doing and I'll close the cabinet, and then way later I'll be like, "Where is my phone? I
Yeah.
can't find it anywhere. It's not any of its normal places." Of course it's when you lose your phone, it's never on loud. Like somehow you always turn it on
Right.
silent right before you lose it.
Right.
And then I'll like way later go to get a cup or something and I'm like,
Oh,
"There
there it
it
is.
is."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny how sometimes you're talking on it too, and you forget that you're talking on it. Because like today, I was talking to Brandon, and I got up to go do something, and I just walked away from the phone like I wasn't talking to him, and I
Oh
kept
yeah.
talking, and I'm like, I can pick this up and carry it with me. Why am I leaving it on the table while I go to
Yeah,
to change the TV or whatever I was
used to
doing?
those corded phone days. Some habits
Yeah,
never fall
I
off.
guess. Yeah, we had the long cord though. We had like the 25-foot cord that you could walk around the whole house on.
Yeah,
And
like
those cords
you're
were
out in the
great.
backyard with it.
Yeah, those cords were great until it lost all of its springiness and it wouldn't
Oh
spring back. So then you put it back and you've got this like just
yeah.
mess of cord that you have to do something with. And
What a time to be alive.
uh,
You just had to
yeah,
be there.
yeah. But and then one of the other things I think, kind of on this topic, but not exactly, is
Yeah.
the way people act online, uh, versus how they act in person. I think we've kind of touched on this before.
Yeah.
The people will post, negative comments, and we were the victims of one this last week. I think we talked about it a little bit last time. Somebody that just because when a lot of times when we're doing the like the true crime episodes or even for some of these other episodes, we will use like AI agents to do some of the research. We'll now there you can do that kind of research with AI and do no verification, and then you're probably going to give out bad information. We generally, when we do that kind of thing, first of all, if you ask it all depends on how you ask the question, right?
Yeah.
Like one of the things that I've gotten very much in the habit of doing is telling the whichever one I use Gemini sometimes I use ChatGPT, telling it to only use verified information. And um and that just prevents you from getting like random information from some unreliable source or something like that. but the information
Right.
that it gives you
Clipping
back,
clipping articles from the Onion.
yeah, exactly. Right? Babylon Bee stories. Um, but but mo when it gives you results back, then especially for the kind of topics that we cover, it generally gives you links to the articles that it pulled the information from,
Oh yeah.
and especially when I add that extra prompt to it, it it it's usually very reliable sources. It's known news sources and that kind of thing,
Yeah.
which then gives us the ability, before we talk about the topic, to go and look at those articles and read the
Right.
actual article. So the fact, and the comment was from a listener who was questioning us using ChatGPT, and they got a little ignorant about the whole thing, honestly. And it just had that situation had me thinking about other cases where I've seen that, where people just go like way over the line on what they need to say, um just on comments on like TikTok or any of that. um and it was like, what seriously, what is wrong with people? Because the way I look at it, although I guess more people are getting to the point where when they see someone in person they talk that way. I think it's like the decline of society, right? You get comfortable speaking to people that way online when you're not looking at them face to face, and you get enough comfortable with it by doing it often enough that then when you are around people face to face, you think it's still okay to be that way. You know what I'm
I've met
saying?
plenty of people, or at least a handful of people, that like won't say anything to you in person, but definitely are a talker behind a phone or,
Yeah.
on typing.
Keyboard warriors.
And the
Yeah.
thing is, like, what I think is funny about it is, like, I'm a very opinionated person. I'm pretty confrontational. Like, if there's a problem, I'm trying to talk to you about it. And not in an aggressive, mean way either. Like, I'm actually genuinely trying to, like, fix and talk through whatever issue it is. Like,
Right.
confrontational in a nice way. I should
Right.
hold a course for it, actually. Some of y'all need to, like, learn how to be confrontational nicely. But
Right.
with that being said, as opinionated as I am, I'm never somebody who's leaving a anonymous mean comment on anything. Mostly because, like, I guess I'm the type of person that if I see something and I don't like it, I don't know, I think some people just need to get a friend, or like
Yeah.
a family member that they really can complain to, because if I
Yeah.
see something that's like annoying to me or I don't agree with or like or whatever, I have enough people around me that I can vent to
Right.
about it. Or like if I really
Right.
need to get my opinion out on, I'll like send it to you or like just somebody to be like, "Oh
Yeah.
my god, look at how
Yeah.
stupid this is." But and then I move past it and I'm over it and I'm moving on with my life and the world keeps
Right.
spinning. I've never been the type that's like seeing something and am like, I need to let them know that I hate this right now and that they're so stupid
Yeah.
and ugly and rude and mean and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Like, what?
I mean, I will not say that I've never left negative feedback to, a comment or a post or something like that I've seen that I disagreed with, but I'll leave the one and then I move on. If the person responds and wants to get into it with me, I never go back, because I look, I said what I needed to say on it. I'm not going to get into an argument with somebody, because honestly, especially when it comes to kind of hot topic type things, I'm not going to convince you. You're not going to convince me. We
Oh,
both
for
speak our
sure.
mind. Let's move on. There's literally
Yeah.
no point in getting into a back and forth with somebody, because, it's not like at the end of that, the person's going to go, you know what, you were right, or I'm going to go, you know
Very
what, you were
rarely.
right. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's not gonna happen, unless some new information comes into the discussion that wasn't there previously. But 99% of the time, that's not the case. It's just
Yeah.
two people with different views of whatever the topic is, that are never gonna agree.
Now, with that being said, if you do leave a rude comment on my podcast page towards me or my dad, I might clap back at you. But, then my dad will instruct me to stop going back and forth with you, but I will stand up for what is right.
And if it
And
gets
how
bad enough,
dare you bully me or my dad on our podcast?
and if it gets bad enough, I will delete the comment.
Yeah, like if it is rude enough, because we don't want those negative vibes over
Yeah.
here. Okay, good vibes
Yeah,
only. Thank
no.
you.
No, I mean, because that's part of it too, is I think we try to keep it kind of light, even on like, more heated discussions like this one. I think we try to keep it kind of light because I think that there's enough of, the other stuff out there. There's enough of the like people yelling at each other and all that. There's no point.
Well, and I think it comes down to like, you know, I think it's always a lot of the time it's the people who like I don't know if it's that they want the attention or they really just think that everybody needs to hear their opinion or they really think
Hmm.
that they can like change the world with their opinion, but or like it's like the type of person that only thinks that they're right. Whatever it is, I just I really feel like there's way too many people who are just real mean. Like I'll be watching some things on it'll be like a family channel on YouTube. And there's this one family channel that I watch and it's this little girl, like this younger girl. I think she's like 10 now. And her dad and stepmom have a YouTube channel, and
Hmm.
then her biological mom has a YouTube channel. And they both channels make like similar content, like similar family content. They both show the little girl, like she has some um brothers on her mom's side and then like no siblings on her dad's side, and people all day compare the two families. They try to say like, oh, she hates her mom, look how much happier she is at her dad's. Like, they'll talk about her weight, and it's just like this is a 10-year-old little girl that y'all are
Yeah, that's
sitting here.
crazy.
Y'all are too grown to be hating on this 10-year-old girl in these comments. Like, God bless. Hopefully, like, she does not see any of the comments because, I know the kids here, like, they would 100% be trying to look up the comments on their YouTube. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
kids get excited about being in videos. Like, even when they try to peep in on our videos here, they're like, "Ooh, can I
yeah,
see it? Can
yeah,
I see it after?
yeah,
Where's my arm?"
yeah.
So, like, I can only imagine if I had a whole YouTube channel where I was like showcasing, like, 100% they would want to be seeing what people are seeing. And
Right,
to have to be like, no, you can't see it because people are rude, okay? People are just rude. Now you're
right.
wondering, like, what are they
Yeah, it's
saying?
it's making them wonder even more what they're saying.
Or
Right.
or even more, like they're going to school, like, oh yeah, my parents do YouTube, and the kids at school might come across because they're pretty big at this point.
Hmm.
Um, Kids at school might come across your video and like are seeing the mean comments, and you might see it through them. Like, it's just too much. Like, people really
Yeah,
just need to mind their business most of the time.
yeah, yeah,
Not
yeah. I think
everyone needs to know what you're thinking.
right, right. Yeah, I think a good rule is like before you post, would you want somebody to say that to your mom? You know,
True.
would you want somebody to say that to your mom
Like, we
or your
were
or your child or your child?
at least we back in the day, we just talked our crap to each other's face, with the we would do a lot
Yeah,
of yo mama jokes back in the day, and it would just be over and we would know it we're joking, and like we would move on. We would move
yeah,
on. It's all a big
yeah,
joke.
yeah. Exactly. So that's all I got. This feels like another rant episode. Not really. Only half of it was a rant. First part of it was just information about what happened to. And I'm surprised, and maybe that's still to come. I'm surprised none of those have happened with TikTok, because TikTok's got a lot of the same. I mean,
Oh
you
yeah.
know,
So
like guilty as charged. Like I can sit and scroll TikTok for hours and go, wait, what time is it? You know what I mean? So I'm surprised they weren't included in that other lawsuit.
yeah, speaking of lawsuits, guys, so we're not filing
Yeah.
one. We're not filing one,
No.
but we
But
might
if
we might
somebody
be.
has a class action one, we want to jump on.
Okay, yeah. So our TikTok got deleted. So if you are also an A&M podcast TikTok follower, uh, you know, and you don't see
Yeah.
us
Switch to the
anymore,
switch to the just underscore am TikTok because I post most of the stuff there too anyway. But we don't understand why it happened. They said we were impersonating someone, and there's like, admittedly, there's about a dozen different A&M podcasts because I don't know. We thought using our initials would be like original, and then we didn't even consider that there's a university named after, yeah, or that's Texas A&M and all that. So yeah, so there may be some rebranding. Stay tuned.
Yeah. Yeah, so until that happens, yeah, no more TikTok for A&M podcast because
Yeah,
good thing we weren't like super big on TikTok yet.
I know. Could you
But we
imagine?
were growing, which is sad.
But you know what? Yeah,
What happened
that's
to
what
all my
hurts, right?
followers? Now they're not even gonna know that we don't exist anymore.
Yeah,
Like, what if they
they're
don't
gonna
find
go.
us anymore?
Right, right. And see, that's where, and I'm not advocating for this, but I will take part in if it happens. That's where I think it's a pro, because you said you saw some other people that the same thing happened to. That's where I think like a class action lawsuit may end up happening because you mentioned somebody that had like a couple million followers. Like, how do you rebuild that following
Some of the people
if
were
you have
owed
to
money from
restart?
TikTok.
There you go. I mean, that's it's just crazy. Like, and the
Yeah.
appeal process, by the way, is horrible because you don't actually get in touch with a human being. You say, I want to appeal it. You provide whatever information you can, and they just come back. And in our case, they came back and denied it, um, which is just wild to me because they weren't even clear on what they were saying about our TikTok channel was impersonating someone else because we're really not. We are,
I'm real. I'll pinch myself
yeah,
right now.
yeah. I mean, but anyway, I don't want to get on a rant about that, but that's where I think they may be in trouble because people who had spent time building a following and were, using TikTok as a source of revenue for them to just come back and delete your page
Oh,
and say you
even
violated
yeah.
something without giving you a real means of appealing it, you know, it's just insane. It's
Because
just
there's some
insane.
people that make serious money off TikTok. Oh my gosh, imagine that being like your main source of income or even your half source of income.
Yeah,
Any
yeah.
source of income for you, and then your page just gets deleted and you got to rebuild your following.
Right.
That is
Right.
stressful. That is stressful.
Right.
That's worth a mental health lawsuit. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
like
So,
ruining my way of life at that point.
yeah, exactly. So if it happens, I want in.
Yeah,
Because now we gotta either keep appealing or we gotta, start from ground zero. So
yeah, so that's why you guys should follow us on everything. Follow us on
yeah.
Spotify and YouTube and Apple Podcast and iHeart Podcast
iHeart
and
and we're at
Facebook.
Pandora,
Follow
I
our
think,
Facebook
maybe.
page. I think we have
I don't know
Facebook.
if we're on Pandora.
Follow our Instagram just in case I start posting on there again. Follow us on
Yeah,
everything just in case.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you can
And
find
we'll
us.
have ultimately there will be a new TikTok, but not right away.
Yeah,
So
so womp 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 womp.
yeah, yeah.
That's because
And
our
you
sound
should
effects
you
also
should
went away.
also you should also yeah, you should also complain to TikTok about our page being deleted. And maybe
Oh
they'll
yeah,
let us
send
come
them a
back. Yeah.
yeah. Are they on Twitter or X?
Who? TikTok?
TikTok.
Does
Yeah.
TikTok have an X? I would assume, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's that
How
seems
fun
like
is that?
that seems like an infinity mirror. It's like the the Spider-Man meme with the three pointing at each other. It's like, how does that work?
You know what's funny? So when you first said meta glasses, when you first said the meta lawsuit or whatever, I thought you were talking because the meta glasses, Adrian was telling me that there's like a lawsuit with that out right now because people had the meta glasses and like were just recording whatever they wanted to record and
Right.
they were under the assumption that like it wasn't going to a big database. Like
Hmm.
everything they recorded wasn't going to a big database. It was like more private. But then it came out that I think it was like he said it was a different country or something like that. They were like, I don't know, looking up ways to make the glasses better, the experience better, or whatever. And they ended up seeing a bunch of people's like personal videos from their meta
Oh.
glasses, some inappropriate, And
Well, okay, so let's stop a second. Why are you wearing the meta glasses there?
they're
Like
wearing them for
in that
everything. They're recording
inappropriate.
them. They're wearing them for everything. They want
Yeah,
to,
that's your own fault. That's your own fault.
No, I mean,
Read
they're
the
my
terms of
glasses.
service.
They're my glasses. I want to
I
wear them anywhere I want. Well, no, that's the problem. In the terms
yeah.
of service, it said that that wasn't a thing.
Oh.
That's
And
the issue.
there
They
was
were
no
under
like
the
opt
impression.
in like
I don't know.
on the iPhone and the Apple Watch. It's like, hey, do you want to help us make it better by sending us data, from your Apple Watch, that kind of thing.
I
If
don't
there was
know.
something like that and they opted in, and I'm not saying that's the case. It could also be because a lot of these companies are evil.
But that happened to was it Facebook or something too, that, or I don't know, one of those companies that they got sued because they were like inappropriately storing people's data when
Mm.
they shouldn't be, and
Yeah,
like sharing
that
it
was a
like.
while ago, though, right? That was a while
But
ago.
now it's the
That
same
one.
thing with the meta glasses.
Yeah, it's a whole lot
So
different with the meta glasses too.
because now you're having people, even if it's not like something inappropriate that I'm recording, like even if I'm just recording my family vacation and I want just that for me, like I don't want you
Yeah,
seeing me recording like my family vacation and my kids swimming in the pool, or like
yeah,
I want that for me and my family. I don't need like this whole office in a different country watching my home videos. Thanks.
yeah, yeah. Exactly. Yeah, that's crazy. I hadn't heard about that. Wow, I'm glad I
Yeah,
didn't get meta glasses then.
I know. They looked pretty cool though. But
Yeah,
yeah.
they do look cool. They do look cool.
Yeah, so
All right. Well, now that that's all said and done, check us out on wherever you can find us. No, hopefully YouTube doesn't decide we're impersonating someone else. I don't know, because
yeah.
most of our stuff's on there, and that would hurt.
It
That
was
would
because
hurt.
of that one intro we did that one time where I said I'm M and you said I'm A, and then
Oh, is that it? I don't know. Yeah. Oh, you were impersonating me, and I was impersonating you. Yeah,
yeah,
that's what it
someone
was.
reported it. It was me. I
All
reported
right.
it. No. Okay.
Well, hey, if you have an idea for what we should change the podcast name to, comment it.
Yeah, let us know. Okay, bye.
Thank, thanks, guys.